For the past 6 months, I've been daily driving a 32-inch 4K OLED monitor, and today it's time to take a quick look and see how the panel is holding up and whether or not there's any visible burn-in or image retention. I already made a video about the LG 32GS95UE where I go into detail about why I chose this particular monitor, as well as how to get the best HDR experience out of it. So please go watch that video if any of that sounds interesting. My conclusions overall haven't changed. I'm still more than happy with the panel, and with optimized HDR settings, the experience, especially in a darker environment, is a treat every single time I fire up a game. But most of the hours I've clocked so far on the monitor have been a mix of browsing and productivity work in apps like Figma, DaVinci Resolve, and Fusion 360. In terms of burn-in precautions, I do use a dark theme whenever available. I set the Windows taskbar to auto-hide, and I use a pitch black screensaver that triggers after 1 minute of inactivity. Anyway, without delaying it any longer, let's take a look at the 6-month update. As YouTube compression will almost certainly ruin these images, I've made high-resolution files available for download, which you can find in the description below. But I'm happy to report that there's no visible burn-in after 6 months of use. If we take a look at the brightness measurements, there's no change there either. In fact, I'm getting almost identical readings to when the panel was brand new. I'm not sure why the 2 months measurements were slightly off. It may have been a mistake on my end, or perhaps this is due to higher ambient temperatures at the time of recording. Now, 6 months is really not a long time, and I'd be downright disappointed if there was any kind of degradation in such a short time. But contrast this result to the one from Monitors Unboxed, where Tim's ongoing test of his qd-oled 32-inch 4K monitor has been showing signs of burn-in after as little as 3 months, albeit in a more aggressive scenario with an always showing taskbar and not using a dark theme at all. The next update I will be doing will likely be at the 1 year mark, unless I spot any degradation sooner than that, in which case, of course, I'll give you guys an update. I've gotten pretty used to the panel, even if my use case leans heavily into productivity. Tallying up all the hours I've spent gaming, they amount to roughly 15% of the total usage. It's definitely very little, and to some that may not even justify using an OLED panel in the first place. But to me, so far, it's been absolutely worth it for the motion clarity and the HDR experience. The only real complaint I still have with the panel is the fan noise, which is definitely audible in a silent room. The matte coating and slightly worse text quality are manageable. In fact, I hardly notice them anymore unless I'm actively looking out for these things. The minimalistic design remains my main reason for why I wouldn't trade it for any of the other currently available 32-inch high refresh rate monitors. There's even a new white model available for those of you who prefer a whiteout setup. And if you find it available on discount for $1,000 or less, I think it's a fantastic buy. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in another 6 months. I am very curious to see if my panel will maintain its uniformity, and if not, to what degree will the image be impacted. I believe there's a longer pixel cleaning process that should kick in around the 2000 hour mark, and if that process makes any significant adjustments, then it should be visible in my brightness measurements. That's all for this one, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video on the channel real soon.